An Epitaph of Light and Sound. A short story by Neil M. Thorne. I do not know how long I remained in that empty place. It may well have been forever, but time had no meaning in that unending void. Darker than any night, and more silent than the deepest of secrets, I drifted without any sense or purpose. Then there came a single point of light, shining and brilliant, before being joined by another, and then another, until soon it was impossible to keep count. I floated through that field of stars, their old light cast across the banished darkness. Clouds swirled around in a myriad of vibrant colours, strange and curious shapes dancing deep within. I fell through that unknown mass, but felt no fear. Ahead lay two great stars, their glare radiantly intense, yet there was no need to look away from their dazzling light, which ought to have scattered me to atoms. I passed by close enough to reach out and touch those energetic wisps of plasma, as if they were a field of flowers swaying in the breeze, before whatever force compelled my journey took me on to sights even more majestic. Then, through all that beauty, came a noise which in strained cacophony rose up in chaos, before stopping, although only as if for the taking of breath, leaving an anticipation of silence. That was when the music started. It washed through me as if I were but dust, and I let it flow, feeling more at peace and entranced than at any other time in my life. Only upon waking did I realize it was a dream, although strangely, the sight of normal everyday life felt bland compared to the marvels witnessed. I pushed that uncomfortable sensation away, and likely all thought of it may have faded from my life, had the dream not continued the following night. This time, I found myself in a mass of fluctuating ribbons that were constantly in change, shifting through all manner of colours I had never before seen. They flew and snapped around as if caught by some unseen force. In that great and sprawling landscape of the universe, there was no way to determine their scale, but regardless I felt insignificant compared to their majesty. Eventually, they faded, although only to be replaced by even more spectacular sights. The music continued as well, deeper and more intense than before, yet in the same breath unbound by any constraints or rules. The many layers together created something sublime, and it did not matter if the meaning could not be understood, only that I was willing to listen. Over the following nights this strange dream endured, although started differently each time, almost as if it carried on in my absence. That ever-complex symphony rose and fell like giant waves crashing before settling to calm. Charged with emotion, I felt exhilarated, witnessing in awe as great storms engulfed entire planets with lightning arcing across the stars, all whilst never making a sound. After countless nights of endless wonders, an unexpected change began. Slowly, a star faded like the setting of a sun, its light soaring through clouds of stellar dust, each speck casting flickering shadows. Shimmering in tones of gold and crimson, it darkened with each passing moment, until the ancient stars once more shone through. The music faded, and I feared it was all over, until a single voice rose up in its place. It sang a lonely tone which grew steadily in power, until I realized it was not just a single soul, but many, each telling their own song, yet somehow melding together. Then, returning in joyous exultation, the music wove together with those unknowable words to create something new, after what must have been the shortest of breaths, during which entire civilizations might have risen and fallen unnoticed. The music once more faded. With it, the voices came to a pause, but when starting up again, their tone had changed. Though unable to understand why, those words made me cry from the very depths of my being. For all their unknowable depths, that heartfelt chorus was filled with an anguish and sorrow I felt as my very own. An end, rousing as it was inevitable, then came upon me, both voice and melody melding in chaotic crescendo to the point where I believed it might overwhelm me entirely, before, without warning, It simply stopped, cut off, and unfinished. In tears I awoke to an unendurable silence, and no matter how much I might wish it, could not return to that wondrous dream. In all my life I had never known such loss, and even now struggled to come to terms with its absence. It was as if a people, of some unknown kind, reached out in their final moments across the immeasurable gulf dividing us, to make certain their voice was heard before the end, so as not to be forgotten, alone and in darkness. Of all those who can dream, I still wonder why I was chosen to receive such a precious gift. Perhaps I was not alone, and there are others in this world who have known the indescribable beauty I bore witness to. Maybe we can meet, and share our experiences of such a truly wondrous journey, but until that day, all I can offer are these words as tribute. I will mourn their loss, and remember them, whoever they were, for as long as I am able. Thank you for listening, and if you have enjoyed this story, please feel free to like, comment, and follow for more.